Is Gina in Whiteout Survival a good hero to level up for a low spend player? I'm going to talk about that today. I think it's a controversial topic, as is Zinman, as I'm learning. I'm Longtooth Gamer. I'm running 2 accounts here. This is my low spend account. If you want to see my whale account, you want to look for the Papa Popsicle account. And if you want to see the low spend account, you want to look for the Papa Polar account. This video is about the low spend account, and I'm going to get into hero selection a little bit. Not so much selection is like my thoughts on what heroes I want to level up on this account and why. So let's get into it a little bit. First of all, you're going to easily start getting these access to these. I'm at furnace level 13 right now. That's where I'm at in the game. Now, I'm trying to stay low spend. I'm trying to be very conservative. So the only thing I've spent so far is I think a construction pack, a March queue, and the ultimate monthly value, which the first time you get for only $4.99. That's all I've spent on this account right now. So now it's getting a little grindy. I am in a good alliance so far. I did miss the first bear trap because they ran it as soon as the bear trap got functional, and I just missed it. I wasn't online, so that was unfortunate because I'm now grinding for resources, and it would have been nice to get them from bear trap. But here's the deal. So you're going to start unlocking these heroes, and once you're at 13, you're going to have access to drill camp. And yes, this isn't optimal, but I was just playing the hand I was dealt. I kind of got Chloris early, so she was useful for arena. And so I popped her down here. I'm going to take her out. Let me explain what my strategy is going to be, though. So first of all, when I played it the first time through, I did not realize how important Patrick could be for defense. He's a tank and a sponge, and he's pretty good. Natalia, some people like and don't like. Basically, she's a big tank. She's got a lot of health, but she's kind of like, it's weird because she's defense, but she's got like strong attack abilities and area of effect. So she's kind of nice for arena, is what I found her good for. Zinman is more of a construction hero, but he's got good marksman buff. So this is where the controversy comes in. And the real controversy, I think, is Gina. When I played my whale account, basically Gina, nobody wants Gina because the free-to-play players level up Gina because you get her as part of the Gina event. And then they think she's good because she's working for them in Explorer and Arena, but then you have to learn the PvE side, the PvE and the other side, like the expedition side of her skill tree, and it's really not all that great. It's really she's just a kind of a resource hero when it comes to that. She reduces stamina. That's what she's good for. So people get confused and send her to bear rallies, and that's horrible. She should never be a rally captain. So this is where the problem with Gina comes in, but I think she's very useful in the early game for a free-to-play or a low-spend player because, you know, she's going to help you in the exploration phase and in Arena, and you can get some free coins. You can get some free gems from Arena, maybe even if you're not doing all that great, and you certainly get a lot of resources every time you level up through the Explorer. You get steel and resources every time you get through an Explorer phase, and she's useful for that. In fact, she's better than who I got from the start with, which was Chloris. But I think what I'm really, and then Molly is great. Molly, Bahidi. So there's different guidance I've seen from folks. So one is to start with your 3 strongest should be what your normal rally would be. And so this is actually a common combo here because you get them early. They're easy to level up through the game for the most part. Eventually you'll be able to level them up and be given opportunities to level them up. So these are nice for free to play and low spend. Chloris, she doesn't even belong here, honestly. She shouldn't be this high powered, but she is right now. And I accidentally, I think, leveled up a skill. Did I? No, good, I didn't. But I shouldn't have done anything with her because she's basically a resource hero. So you end up getting 4 resource heroes. I call them resource. I don't know if that's the term the community uses, but to me that's what they are. Because she is good for meat. That's her primary skill. She'll help increase meat production and gathering. And then you have Smith, who's good for iron, I believe. So he'll help with iron production and gathering. And then you have Eugene for wood, I believe, because he's got the axe. Yep, he's wood. And then you have Charlie, which is for coal. So he helps with coal mining and production and gathering. So really, I mean, those 4 heroes, I don't plan on doing anything with other than leveling up their expedition skills for these resource buffs. That's it. That's what I'm going to use them for. I'm not going to level them up, and unless I'm like in a pinch for my drill camp and I don't have anybody else better to select, that's all they're going to do. They're going to sit there at level 1. When my drill camp opens up some more, I'll be able to put more people in them as my furnace level ups. I can throw them in there if I want, if I don't have anybody better. But that's all they're going to be. So some people suggest that you focus on the core 3, but I actually, I kind of go with this different philosophy where I'd rather also have a solid 5, because I want to do well enough in arena to place enough to get some gems. It doesn't have to be a lot of gems, but just enough to get some gems. And then I want to be able to do well in Explorer, because that's a form of free resources. So that's my motivation in leveling up 5. So essentially those 5 are going to be the 3 gold heroes. I think that's kind of obvious because they add good buffs to the team. And then Bahiti and Patrick. But I'm challenged. I have a little challenge now, because I've heard that for free-to-play players that Gina can also be good in Explorer and Arena. So I'm going to have to give that a play around. But the one thing about Gina is, because of the Gina event, she's easy to level up. So she can actually do well in Arena. And I'm going to have to play around. Maybe I'll have to play around with different configurations for different types of Explorer skill levels. But if anybody has any advice on that in particular, like when is Gina good or not, or what this mix of the 5 should be, I'd appreciate it. The other heroes I'm going to want here for Bear is basically Jasser, Jesse, and Siyun. Did I get Siyun yet? I think I did. Oh, no, I didn't unlock Siyun yet. So I'm going to want her eventually as well for Bear. And that, you only level them up so much. This isn't a level up guide. You can go search for it and you'll find lots of different level up guides. What I'm really getting into is, as a low spend player, what heroes should you be focusing on? And I'm telling you what I'm doing. Molly has been great for me in the high spend account even, and I've heard that Molly is really great for many generations to come. Bahiti is like a free to play and low spend player's dream, because he's easy to level up. You're going to get shards all over the place. Same with Patrick to a degree. I think he's going to be easy to level up, and therefore he's going to be a useful asset. Zinman is controversial because, he does have some interesting buffs. I mean, his marksman attack starts scaling up. And he is an SSR gold level hero, but he's really designed more to be this construction buff hero, just like the resource heroes. So he's got this construction buff. You definitely want to get this construction buff up. So, because this will help you towards the end of the game, reduce your construction costs along with some research you can do. So he's definitely useful, and he is useful in Arena and in Explorer, but I don't know if he's as useful as a fully leveled up Gina. And the thing is that it's easy to level up Gina because you can get these shards just by grinding the beasts and the Gina missions. So this is what makes Gina enticing as a free to play or low spend player. It doesn't cost me anything. Whereas if I wanted to get Zinman leveled up quickly, I've got to buy these Zinman packs and play the wheel and do all these things to try to get those. And he's not even all that, is he really worth it in the end? Not the spend. He's not worth the spend on it, I don't think. But there are people out there, I've been getting the comments, I'm not ignoring you, I'm saying it's controversial. There are people out there who are adamant that Zinman is important or useful all the way to Gen 5. I don't know. I don't know how that could be true once Alonso comes along, but interested to hear the debate, basically. I've also heard people kind of not so happy with Natalia, and I don't understand that because again, in my high spend account, she's been pretty good. I think maybe the issue is, as a low spend player, she may be difficult to level up because, her shards don't come easily as frequently. But Molly, it's pretty easy to get. And then Bahiti, he rivals some of the SSR level players when he's leveled up, and he's easy to level up. And same with I don't know if I called this Patrick, but this is Sergey, sorry. So Sergey here, and then Patrick is important later on for garrisoning, structures and things like this to give you more defense. But that'll come along later. So right now my focus is really Molly, Bahiti, Sergey, and then I think what I'm going to do aside from those three is I am going to go ahead. I'm going to try to grind for Gina, and if she ends up outperforming, Zinman, I'll swap her in. But these are, SSR gold level heroes. So I think that's going to be my 5 lineup. It's going to be the three SSRs, which is Molly, Natalia, and Zinman, and then Bahiti and Sergey. So that'll be my lineup that I focus on. And if I have to have, if one is going to float higher than the others, it'll be these three, because that is going to be my primary rally for some time to come. But I'm going to be using Gina rallies, rallies for any beasts and things like that, because she has the stamina reducing skill over here. Which makes it the stamina reducing skill that makes it cheaper to send her out on expedition. So that's important for a free-to-play or low-spend player, because that means I can use stamina more efficiently. So there we go. That's in for whatever you do. Don't send Gina in a bear run. You'll get in a bear trap or a bear hunt as a rally lead. You will get if people are polite, they'll just kick her from the rally. If people are not polite, they'll lose their mind and try to explain to you why this is such a bad idea. So there we have it. And then I'm gonna if you do make a mistake, just know that when you get to FC 13, you're gonna have these options open to you. So that's the recruitment. If you go into the drill camp, you'll have these two options to you: level drills and drill level resets. So this is important for you to know. I know my veterans out there already know this, but if you're a new player to the game and you're looking at this from a low spend player's kind of guide and what I'm doing on my low spend account, just realize that you really only should ever have to level up 5 heroes, because as your furnace levels up, you'll unlock more and more drill camp slots. So these are, I believe they call these the instructors. Your 5 highest heroes go up here in the instructor panel. And then whoever's the lowest, now follow this along, whoever's the lowest of your 5 highest, that level will transfer to all the students in the section below. So the lowest of your 5 highest gets, transferred to the students down below. So you only ever have to level up 5, and then they'll transfer to the rest, and you'll be able to open up more slots. If you get it wrong, you can come into the level resets, and you can reset the hero, get all the points back, and redistribute them. And I don't think there's any penalty for doing that. I don't recall. It's just a time, like if there's a timeout, you can't do it too frequently, basically. So, and that's without any loss. So don't stress too bad if you get that part wrong. What you don't want to get wrong, however, and this is again where the controversy comes in. As you start leveling up, I can't show you this in this account yet. As you start leveling up gear, the gear itself, you want to be careful that you use the right gear for the right type of hero. Like you want to use attack for the marksmen and lancers, and defense for the infantry. But it's hard to make a mistake on the gear, because you can actually just transfer the gear to another hero. So if you leveled up Zinman's mythic gear too high, it doesn't really matter. You'll be able to transfer that to Alonso. But if you level up his weapon with the widgets, you'll see later, you can't take that back. You've just wasted those widgets on him for no good reason if you don't plan on playing with him long term. So just be careful about that. But the levels you can reset, and the gear itself you can repurpose in any number of ways, as long as you don't use essence stones. That's a whole nother thing. So there we have it. That's what I'm going to focus on this low spend account. And I'm just down to the grind with this account now. Unfortunately, I'm in a position where my alliance is great. Like everything happens really fast when I go to run it. So that's why this is not a great state to be in. Optimally, I want to be having something in the cooker all the time, paying that time penalty. I always say with this game, you're either going to pay in dollars or you're going to pay in time. And right now I'm in the phase of paying for time. And because I missed that bear, the only thing I can do right now, I can start trying to find, juicy cities to go plunder that aren't in an alliance that's protected or something. It's to me, it's like not fun, because it's time consuming and it's oftentimes not productive. And sometimes you might even lose troops doing it. So it's not that fun for me, but it is fun for some people to try to do that. So instead I'm focusing on just, I send a bunch of gathering out. I go run the other account. I let this run. I'll get like 1 million or so, but I've got to collect now through the explorer missions. Oh, and there's another form of missions, of course, the intel missions. So I got to run these down today. This is right after the reset, so I didn't run these down yet, but I'll run these down as much as I can. Again, this is where the efficient use of stamina comes in. So I'm going to run all those down. I run all my explorers down. So primary source of resources for me right now are running the exploration down, running the intel down. I can hunt some beasts if I still have stamina left over, and then And the last thing I can do is send, because it costs to hunt down beasts and stuff, but it doesn't to send out to gather, send out troops for gathering. So that's what I'm doing right now, sending out troops for gathering. And of course, this is during the Gina phase of the Gina event. So what I want to make sure that I do, I've done 7 of these rallies already. I want to make sure I get my 10 rallies in and do a bunch of auto joining so I can get my daily rewards. I don't have any today because I didn't turn on auto joining for that yet. But what you want to do is make sure that you have auto join on so that when people send out their rallies, then you have a chance to join them as well, or you can just be online and join them. So that's where we stand on this account right now. It is New Year's Eve for me, so if you're watching this anywhere around New Year's Eve, I hope you have a great New Year, and until next time, I'll see you later.